But for large swatches of the American public, many whom lost their homes or jobs because of the financial crisis, Goldman's behavior was deeply offensive, taking advantage of clients to save in its own skin, and they danging that that's what it had done was not the way companies were supposed to act. People were also offended as they realized that Goldman had played as big a role as the wrecks of Wall Street involving the bubbly bigger, yet unlikely millions of the subprime borrowers. It largely escaped the damage it helped create. It was the mortgage market that definitively put a lead to Holman's famous sanctimonious first business principle, the one John Whitehead had articulated 3+ decades earlier. Her clients' interests always come first. They didn't and hadn't for quite some time. As a 2007 trading way to films Goldman Sachs. They didn't and had for quite some time, has a 2007 trading weight for the Goldman Sachs mortgage department noted. However, the first business principle is not always straightforward, as we are a market to multiple clients, meaning that even when Wallman was servicing clients and often had to choose which clients' interests would come first. The presentation could have added that one of those clients has not was Goldman Sachs himself. What Goldman never lost sight of was their kid but also were warning the mortgage was the most dangerous financial product ever created. Its want Goldman forgot that caused all its problems. It was just dealing with financial products, it was dealing with people homes. The Goldman Sachs mortgage department, which as it speak had some 400 people, while by its natural conflict central, it underwrote mortgage-backed securities which it sold to clients. It bought CDOs that included its own mortgage-backed securities and those of others. It created synthetic CDOs allowing clients to take either the long or short side of the bed, something Goldman himself was of the other side of the client's bed. Most of the time, the client had no knowledge of the Goldman positions. It also actively traded out those instruments for its clients and himself sometimes in bought or shorted mortgage related securities because it couldn't get the deal done without committing its own capital. Other times it did so because it had its own view about which way the securities were headed and it was trading for its own account. In any case, the line between client related trading and proprietary trading was very blurry. If the Goldman hedged a position that was a result of facilitating a client trade, the tied account has a client trade or a proprietary trade. Goldman chief risk officer Crane Broderick would later say that our client base is extremely aware and clear about what functions we are performing, but contemporaneous emails and complaints after the fact will paint a messier picture. The structured product group, which was part of the mortgage desk and which put together many of Goldman's most complex trades, was co-headed by Michael Swinson, a former Williams College hockey player in his late 30s, and David Lehman, a young start hero from Deutsche Bank around 2004. When he was just 30, they made a decision early on that synthetic business could be big, so they stepped up according, or as Swenson put it in his 2007 self-evaluation. I can take credit for recognizing the enormous opportunity for the ABC synthetics business 2 years ago. He I recognized the need to assemble an outstanding team of traders and was able to lead that group to build a number one franchise, and that he did. Among those he recruited was Josh Birbaum, a star trader who trade the new ABX index until synthetics came along. Goldman had been a middle player in both the mortgage-backed securities and the CDOs markets, but it quickly became a force in this new market, which considered both synthetic CDOs and hybrid CDOs. These contain both real mortgage-backed securities and credit default swap. Quickly, Goldman began to climb up the rankings. In both 2006 and 2007. It was the fourth largest undergraduate of CDOs. Greg Birnbaum, in his 2007 self-review, number one market share in ABS, CDS, ABX, and single name. Est named 30 and 40%. Although mortgage were a relatively small piece of Goldman's overall business. The department's 2006 revenue barely topped $1 billion, compared to nearly $38 billion for the firm itself. Almost half of the mortgage desk 2006 revenue came from structured products trading and CDOs. One of the earliest Goldman synthetic CDOs put together in 2004 was called CDOs Investor. Came the Goldman seeking exposure to a specific set of mortgage-backed securities. Goldman was happy to obligate and build a synthetic CDOs based on the securities AQB wanted to reference. The dollars IQB received would come from the customers who took the short side of the transaction. Over the next few years, Abacus became a king of Goldman's franchise with about 16 deals and $10 billion worth of securities sold, according to the Senate Permanent Subcommittee on Investigations. Later, Goldman could insist that the synthetic CDOs deals the firm put together were after initiated by clients. To growth Goldman's 2010 later to shareholders in that originator Abacus CDOs. This was clearly true. Gravity's product. Say a person familiar with the ideal. He adds that in the early years, the hard part was finding someone to take the shared side of the trade because no one wanted that risk.